Why is it they called albino tiger barbs when they ain't got the red eyes like albinos do? Why is it that they supposed to be so aggressive, but everybody puts them in community tanks with itty bitty little teeny weeny fish only? But more importantly, why does everybody say you got to keep them in big schools and big old monster tanks, but you keeping them in a little itty bitty tank in groups of 3 and getting away with it? I'll tell you why.
Can you dig it?
So serious.
So I got all of these, I got a buttload of these little 15-gallon nano tanks, and I wanted to put something in it, and at heart I just cannot do the itty bitty little nano fish. As much as I try, it's really difficult for me to do. So I'm forced to look for fish that are considered community or don't get that big but still has some type of pizzazz to them, a little bit of some mojo, a little bit of moxie to them. And of course I got to go with the barbs, which I do have a couple of barbs that I will show in other videos, but this particular video we're talking about the albino tiger barb. Now the albino tiger barb, there's a whole lot of things that people they say about these things, but is any of that really all that true? Has anybody ever put it to the test? I am, and I gotta admit, there are some truths, but a lot of the things that people say as far as this is what you gotta do and this is what you gotta, I don't know if they've tested it out themselves or they're just going off what someone else said. And that's just not how I do things. I like to think that I have the trust of my audience, my subscribers, my viewers, and in order to keep that trust, I cannot lie to you and say I know this or I know that unless I've tried it myself. So that's what I've done. I've done this, I've tried it, I've put it to the test myself. And let's start off with the whole word albino tiger barb. First of all, albino means lack of pigment. These particular tiger barbs, and to be honest with you, a lot of other tiger barbs that I've seen on the market that are labeled albino tiger barbs are not at all albino because they have the black pupils. A true albino would have pink pupils. Now I've scoured the interweb and I have found pictures of albino tiger barbs with pink pupils. But here's the thing, not only are their pupils pink, but their body, their fins and the stripes in their body are also pink. So I gotta be 100% honest, I don't think I've ever noticed this in albino tiger barbs while I'm out and about checking out LFS's, local fish stores. I haven't looked, to be honest. I just took it at face value that it said albino tiger barbs. These things are albino. It wasn't until I tried to do an all albino tank that I noticed a huge difference in this fish coloration. Honestly, I would consider albino tiger, the majority of the albino tiger barbs that are out on the market, more of a leucistic, whereas they have different pigmentation, but still keep the black eye pupils. I don't think I've ever seen with my own peepers a true albino tiger barb, but then again, I haven't really looked that hard and tried to pick them out, you know, oh, this is albino, this is not. I just took it at, they're albino. Blech. You know what I mean? I never really looked at their eyes. So right out the gate, that myth busted. There's a couple discrepancies that I've seen on how you must keep tiger barbs. I keep mine in 15-gallon nanos. To be honest with you, the temperature is about 70 degrees in the tank because I'm not running heaters. The only reason why I'm not running heaters is because somebody said while I was on a live stream how they don't run heaters, and I was curious. I'm like, let me try that. So their temperature range is about 70 in the tank. They're doing fine. Apparently I'm supposed to keep them at a different temperature with different pH and all that mess. I don't know. This is the way I have them. You can see in the thing, it's not a huge amount of space, but they're, you know, and as far as temperature goes, they're living fine. They're active. Usually with fish, the colder it is, the less active it is, but obviously these jokers is moving, shaking and grooving, so I'm good with it. I've noticed that the size of the tiger barbs that I have now, which is about 2 knuckles long head from the nose, the tip of their snout to the base of their tail, is about 2 knuckles or so, maybe a little bit more, you know, which would give them a little over 2 inches. But if you read online, it says they get 3 inches. And whenever people ask me the size of a fish, I go from the tip of their nose to the base of their tail. I don't know if they're including their tail size, but for me to see a 3-inch long tiger barb, albino tiger barb, what have you, you know, just body size. I've never seen that, but I did have a live stream where somebody said that they had an in-law or a family relative that they saw with their own eyes that they was in fact 3 inches long. I would say that 3-inch long thing, that might be true in the wild, but not so much in captivity because of water quality and all that good stuff. Now, Corey from Aquarium Co-op, he had like a 800 gallon tank or something like that with 300 in there, and he don't have it no more, but I would be interested to see if he were to keep that tank, that large amount of tank, which would be easier to keep the water quality up high, maybe not as many in there, but if he had it for this long, how big would they have gotten? I wish he would have kept that. I did enjoy that particular series that Corey did, but I didn't follow along too much after that, so I don't know what happened to it. I don't believe it's up though, but yeah, 3-inch long, I don't know, that's probably in the wild and in captivity. I've never seen it. Some people say they have, but until I see it for myself, I won't never repeat that, or I won't repeat it saying it for a fact. I'll just say so-and-so said, and if so-and-so said, then it's gotta be true, right? Like I just mentioned, Corey had 300 of them in a 800 gallon tank, but he had some other fish in there too. I personally think that was a severely overstocked tank, but here's the thing, it doesn't really matter if it's overstocked if you keep the water change, the water quality, and you know, do your water change, your water maintenance. I don't really see the problem with it. I know these tiger barbs, some people say that they're not a good beginner fish because of their aggression, to which I say phooey. I do believe they're a good beginner fish under the right circumstance. If you work at listen to me y'all, if you work at an LFS, get your peepers peeping. You know what I mean? No, I'm sorry, not your peepers, because that would be your eyes. But you gotta listen, and you have to listen, and you have to see. Get your ears earring, okay? If a customer comes to you and they are looking for a fish to put in a 10-gallon tank that they're not gonna die and they're strong and they could take a couple of bumps and bruises as far as maintenance is concerned, stop trying to send them tetras, okay? Stop it. Send them barbs, tiger barbs, albino tiger barbs, any type of barbs. Those are stronger fish. Just let them know they will have issues in the future because they are a little bit more aggression. And while we're on the subject of aggression, are they really that aggressive? At least towards other fish? Because in my opinion, my experience, they haven't done anything to any other fish. They have chased themselves around, but have never hurt themselves. The one has never hurt another one. I'm not saying that it would never happen in anybody's tank, or it wouldn't happen in your tank. I'm just saying in my tank, they've never killed each other or any other fish. So keeping them in a small tank, I don't really see a problem with the whole aggression thing. They are, you know, rambunctious. They do chase each other, but they haven't never hurt each other. I think a lot of that is due to breeding, because in this particular tank, I do have 2 males and 1 female, and I do notice the male chases the female around a lot. I don't think that's fighting though. That's just, hey, you know, that's some Pepe Le Pewing going on. Another thing people say is you can't put tiger barbs with long finned fish. Has anybody ever tried it? I haven't, but it's just said out there. It's just like, tiger barbs, yeah, #1 rule, you can't keep them with long fish. Only I've never seen anybody put tiger barbs with angels. So is it true? I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you've tried it. I can tell you this, I have seen tiger barbs, albino tiger barbs, green tiger barbs, regular tiger barbs, what have you. I've seen them with gouramis with long fins. Granted, they wasn't super long with like angels, but they were very long with absolutely no issues. So this whole thing about keeping tiger barbs and angelfish because of their fin nippers, I've never seen it. I've never seen it. So is that true, or is it just a myth people say because so-and-so said it? And like I said, if so-and-so said it, it's got to be true. So as far as community fish go, these are also considered community fish, but they are also considered an aggressive fish. How is that a thing? How do you have an aggressive community fish? You can't have both, man. Well, you can if you're good enough, but for people starting out, you're just confusing. Hey, this is a very aggressive fish. Put them in your community tank. No, because of their size and because of their, you know, stockiness and how rambunctious they are, I would actually put them with larger semi-aggressive fish, you know, Jack Dempsey's, fire mouse. I really wouldn't put them with Africans, although I have seen it done. I just wouldn't do it. But I would easily put them with semi-aggressive fish that get anywhere in between 5 and 8 inches long, you know, up in that range. The only issue with that is, of course, and I gotta say, and I hate saying it because it's something that I have to say all the time, because if I don't say it, someone's gonna say, well, you didn't tell me. You can put them in with bigger fish as long as the barb is big enough not to get in the bigger fish's mouth. Because if it is, any fish will try it. Look here. This is so that I never have to tell anybody again, which I'm gonna have to because other people watch my video. You've seen this video, so you're never gonna have to know. Nobody's gonna have to tell you this again. It doesn't matter what type of fish it is. It really doesn't matter. It could be a goldfish, it could be a guppy, it could be a whatever. If they see something that can fit in their mouth and is moving and squiggling along, they're gonna give it a shot. I would. The notorious they also said that they must be kept in humongous tanks like Corey did, and I'm beyond in large schools because they do have a schooling or tight shoaling nature, which they do. And if you were to keep them in a large tank in a very large school, I think you would get more out of this species. But that doesn't mean you cannot have it in a small tank with only a few. They say that you need to get them in groups of 6, because if you don't have them in groups of 6, they start turning into gremlins and tearing up the tank just because they got wet or something like that. You know, Stripe and all that, they get around, they act up, they start watching the Snow White and Seven Dwarfs, and they burn the theater down. But they say that's what happens if you keep them in small groups. I have 3 in this tank, 3 in that tank, 3 in that tank over there with no issues whatsoever. Some with long fin fish, some with smaller fish, no issues whatsoever. Like I said, they only really mess with each other. But I can tell you this, if I had a big tank, I would keep them in a big group. If you have it like that, yeah, do it. If you don't have it like that, don't let nobody talk you out of it. Just keep in mind that they do have a more rambunctious nature. I'm not going to call them aggressive because I have never seen them kill another fish. I've seen them chase each other, but that's not aggressive to me. That's just like, would you really call like 3 puppies wrestling with each other aggressive? No, you wouldn't. They're just wrestling with each other because that's what 3 puppies do. This is the first time I've kept tiger barbs, and I've only had them. Probably these albino tiger barbs, I've only had them for about 6 months. Now, if they ever got to be 3 inches long, would they have an issue in a 15-gallon tank? I don't know. You're gonna have to subscribe to find out. And check out some of these other videos I'm gonna put out. If you like this, you might like those too. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.